On this episode, we offend everyone. Welcome to Save Every Universe. My name is Alec Garcia. As the oldest son of the Islander family, I return to Paradise Island after my mother passes away, and I use her memories to stop 10 mysterious plagues. And I promised Robbie that if he can guess that without looking it up, I will buy Monster Hunter and join him on that quest.
Islander family?
Mm-hmm. E-I-L-A-N-D-E-R. Probably not.
I don't think so. It doesn't sound familiar.
It's a game for filthy casuals on mobile.
Oh, there's no way. All right, well, whatever. He's never going to play Monster Hunter. My name is Robbie. My nature is to store up electricity. Forests where nests of my kind live are dangerous since the trees are so often struck by lightning.
Huh, that one, that's good. That was very well crafted.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to think about that one. Who were you last week?
Last week, we were talking about communication. I was an enforcer from APB, All Points Bulletin.
Yes, okay, I did know that one. The Crims and the
and the enforcers.
Yeah. I never played APB, but I remember you guys talking about it so much that, yeah, it sounded super familiar.
Yeah, it was a fun game, but unfortunately, the guys I were playing with insisted on only Skyping each other, and so you can't push to talk in Skype, and it caused some strife in my marriage because
just constant, never-ending streams of bullcrap.
And she felt like everything she said was getting picked up in the mic, so I actually had to stop using Skype.
So Vent, right? It was probably what you guys were
Ventrilo
using
was
for WoW and all that kind of stuff.
Right, but you can do push to talk.
And if you missed it last week, we did talk about communication technology in video games. So if you missed it, go back and give that one a little listen-y-loo. Last time I was Bayek of Siwa from Assassin's Creed Origins.
Oh, right. Yeah. I don't know that name, but I knew that's
it's a wonderful game. You should really play it.
He's really become an enthusiast, a zealot of Assassin's Creed Origins.
It really is good, man. It really is solid. They outdid themselves. So this week we are talking about something we've sort of touched on and skirted around as we do. As we babble like fools, we end up kind of skirting around issues, and then it's always good to kind of double back and dive a little bit deeper into an issue. We talked about racism in video games in the early days of our podcast. We talked about casuals versus hardcore. We were just in conversation and we realized that there's a bunch of other weird little segments and prejudices that happen, sort of not the perceptions of non-gamers against gamers, but biases and prejudices among gamers.
Yeah, so I thought I would don't get us wrong, this is going to be probably more tongue-in-cheek. I kind of thought it'd be funny to talk about. You would think as a gamer and stuff, there would be no prejudices. We'd be like, oh, we're all friends, but that's not true at all. Yeah. So I thought I would go over...
the biggest prejudices would be gamers versus non-gamers. There's actually quite a few really strong prejudices. Anytime a new Call of Duty and a new Battlefield launch in the same year, it's blood in the water and people want to debate who's the bigger idiot for playing this or that game. And, so it's not serious prejudice like how we did talk about racism in a very serious way in a previous episode. This is more the rivalry.
More by genre or game type or whatever.
Exactly.
So I thought I would maybe go through that and some of the things that oddly enough, and I even know how stupid it is, my own prejudices, but I can't help it.
As I was putting together my notes for this episode, that's the goal of this episode, is to, it doesn't happen very often where you critically analyze your own biases and prejudices of why you don't play those kind of games and why you're not the kind of person that would play those kind of games. I'm not the kind of person who plays fill in the blank type game, but why not? Did you have one bad experience with somebody who played those games and you're like, fuck that, I'm not like them, and but really
the person you hate.
But really there's some good games within that genre that you might benefit from playing as a gamer.
Well, you know what, why don't you start by talking about, so we had Diego on a few weeks back and he walked us through sports games, and the reason we had Diego on was because we don't play a lot of sports games.
We don't play any sports games. I don't play any sports games now.
Right. Yeah, these days we don't play any, but it's still a valid genre, but suddenly we realized we didn't know anything about it, so we had Diego come on and kind of school us about it. Yeah. And it kind of was enlightening, I thought.
Yeah, and as he was talking, it was sort of opened my eyes to oh, wow, that's the same reasons I play a bunch of other games. And, just why have I been so biased against and I will say that part of my prejudice, I was looking up stuff just about prejudice in general and how that works, the psychological theories behind it and that kind of thing. And one of the things they were saying is that prejudices exist as a function of self-expression. Sometimes that I'm the kind of person who does this. Anytime you define that, by default, you're also saying I'm not the kind of person who does this other thing.
I think that's at the heart of it, really, because I think as we go through these, any of these that I list, I probably envision a person or a type of person, and I am reviled by it or repulsed, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, there's no way I am that person, even though that's bullshit. That's not true at all. But in your head, you just don't want to be that person, right?
Right. And with sports games in particular, my prejudice against them, and again, we use that term sort of loosely, lightly.
Yeah.
My prejudice against it is that my experience with most people who play sports games is that they're not, quote, real gamers, is that they're sort of tourists who show up for a season and then go away. They buy the latest Madden or they buy the latest FIFA just because it's cool or just because their friends play it, or, you know, after they leave high school or after they leave college. They're not really a gamer anymore or in any way beyond that. And maybe that's good because they're doing other things with their life, career, relationships or whatever. But as far as gaming goes, in my mind, they're not, quote, real gamers, you know, and clearly that's a gross overgeneralization, and that's really not fair. And we met some really cool people.
Yeah, it was actually really fun.
Like, it doesn't serve anybody to put anyone in those boxes at all.
I think it's easy to generalize it that way because, like, let's say you're the Assassin's Creed fan who plays every installation, right?
Yeah.
Even though those are numbered, like with sports games, so for so much of our lives, they're literally years.
Yeah.
So it feels seasonal. Like, it feels like, oh, now they're playing the 2007 edition.
Yeah.
But that's all they do. So, like, it's hard not to envision the seasonal.
But just like we talked about in the sports episode, like, if you really looked at, if someone didn't play third-person adventure games, like Assassin's Creed or Uncharted or Horizon Zero Dawn, and someone from the outside looked in on those, they'd be like, oh, okay, it's just another one of those with a big map where you run around and shoot stuff. And it really is arbitrary trying to draw those lines and make it seem like your game is right and their game is bad, and that's not real gaming.
That's not real. Yeah, in fact, so when I started reading, and Kotaku has some really good articles just about like gaming snobbery and why we could be a good gaming snob, or what is it. There's several, and they're all pretty enjoyable. But from one of those articles, there was a quote from 1988. There was a newspaper article about how successful Zelda was, and how the upcoming Famicom, which is the NES, but it was the Famicom in Japan. And so this joystick PC, I mean, they wouldn't have called it a PC gamer at the time, but he was a computer gamer.
Right.
Talked about like the simplicity of console gaming and how Zelda's not real gaming, and it's not real gaming unless you have a joystick.
Yeah.
He's quoted like a joystick and 2 buttons or whatever, and it was like hilarious because who still uses a joystick, right?
Well,
just arcade fighters.
And it's even more hilarious when you look at the PC Master Race versus console gaming question, where it's like, if it's not keyboard and mouse, it's like, okay, nothing new under the sun, and it just it changes its clothes a little bit, but it's the exact same argument from generation to generation.
Right. As a side note, that's also awesome that it's been the PC console fight
has been going on.
We talked about it, but it's been going on for some time.
Right.
So if you want, I can start with some of my big.
I jumped in with sports. I have a few other ones, but you go next with yours, and maybe we can just kind of go back and forth.
This one's silly. I actually didn't write this one down, but I thought I would bring it up. And full disclosure, like, I just bought a Switch.
Yeah.
So it's like, I understand how hypocritical this is, but for some reason, I have a little bit of a prejudice against people who only play Nintendo games. Not people who play Nintendo, but people who only play.
I share that a little bit.
So if they've only played Mario, which is ridiculous, because these are hard games, they're fun games, they're challenging games. Nintendo games are great.
And nobody who is a quote, serious gamer would argue that Zelda games are among some of the best games ever made. No one would argue that.
Nope, and I wouldn't. I love Breath of the Wild. Yeah. But for some reason, when I talk to somebody and I'm like, what do you play? Oh, I play like GameCube. What else? No, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what? Like, they seem like this weird cult, almost like the true Nintendo, and that's it fans. Like, there's something kind of strange about them. And I've always kind of been like, just had this prejudice, like any shooter game that's on is probably easier on Nintendo. Like, I don't know why. And
it's easier or it's bad, especially like with the Wii. Like, they especially solidified their reputation there. Because I mean, like GoldenEye, they got, console shooters, like they pre-Halo.
They started it,
GoldenEye
right?
was it.
Yeah.
And so it's not that they can't do it, but like with the GameCube, which wasn't really a shooter-friendly controller, and the Wii, which was absolutely not a shooter-friendly controller. After 2 generations of that, it's sort of like, oh, Nintendo, so you don't play, this game, or this type of game. You only play Zelda and Mario. And
it's ridiculous, and the Switch is doing leaps and bounds to break that with with all these games coming out.
Oh, Doom on the Switch, man, I gotta say, it is fun. Just from sheer fun standpoint, it was one of my favorite things I played last year.
Yeah, I know it's silly. I'm literally looking at my Switch box. I just bought it yesterday. So I get how ridiculous this is, but I can't help it, man. If there's somebody who just plays Nintendo,
it does seem narrow-minded, and I am a little bit convicted by that, being so anti-Xbox as I am, because really, in a lot of ways, that's just as arbitrary, and it's rooted in the whole like the console launch period where Microsoft just kind of announced some really weird stuff that was sort of not gamer friendly. It was like they were trying to be more than for gamers.
It seemed like it.
At the end of the day, there's really nothing wrong with Xbox, and I mean, a lot of the great titles that are available on PlayStation are available on Xbox. It really is very arbitrary, but I share that bias as well. PlayStation is good, Xbox is bad. You know, and
I'm less with the PlayStation Xbox thing. I'm not as much.
Well, now like PlayStation has outsold them so hard that it really is like not even a conversation worth having. Xbox clearly is bad.
Oh, jeez Louise. So, oh my God. So I had an Xbox One for a while. It did break. I know that doesn't help my side in this argument, but I chose to go with just PlayStation just because I didn't want to keep doing the console wars. All my friends were playing on PlayStation. Yeah. I still maintain and keep an Xbox One controller because they're the best controllers.
Oh yeah.
The PS4 controller is good, but I think the Xbox One controller
for first-person shooters in particular,
dude, for everything, it's so great. It's a solid controller, man. All right, we don't need
moving
to
on.
That. Yeah. So is that yours, Xbox players? Do you have a prejudice against?
Okay, so here's one of my other weird biases: people who are retro gamers that aren't really gamers. I don't know if you've come across this breed, but I've met a few of them, and they drive me absolutely crazy. Where they own like an original NES that's in pristine condition, and they go on eBay and hunt for the gold cartridge Zelda, and they have all the collection stuff of being a gamer.
Yeah.
But they don't really play anything new, and they don't really go back and play. They're just more of a collector. But they say they're a gamer, and they have like all the t-shirts and they have all that stuff. For some reason, those people really, really irk me. There should be a different category for those folks where it's like
more of collectors.
Yeah, where they should be a video game memorabilia collector. They should not identify as a gamer. That for some reason, maybe that's not fair, but for some reason that really, really irks me. And they think that the industry peaked in its first generation of NES and those kinds of things. And that's really crazy. Like, how do you be a gaming enthusiast and say that all the best days are behind us? Like, how do you not participate in this current generation of gaming?
Okay, so I do have a coworker, a friend who fits almost all of that, except he still does game. He does the old man crotchety.
Yeah.
All the best days are behind us.
Yeah.
Nothing compare. He still does all that, but he does still play to his credit.
And I do think there are valid points. Like we talked about in our Metroidvania episode, modern open world games, if they kind of looked backwards at some of the Metroidvania games of the early days, there's some really cool mechanics that they could introduce that would make those open world games better, in my opinion, more satisfying, more rewarding. It would make the grind more meaningful.
Sure.
But at the same time, you can't always be looking back. You got to enjoy the games that are here, and you got to look forward to the games that are coming tomorrow without being a crotchety old shit.
That's fair. I guess I've never really come across like retro gamers that didn't really play. Most of the retro gamers I talk to have kind of sub-converted into indie gamers.
Yeah.
So they play all the retro
that's
stuff.
Probably true.
And then they play the indie stuff.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I don't know how to have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, what are you playing?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, I loved Mass Effect 3. And they're like, that's too mainstream for me. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to talk to you, man. Like, I don't know how to have a conversation.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say they irk me, but it's hard to have a conversation.
And I'm all for
all
for indie games and stuff, but I mean, how do you not look at like the broader scope of what's happening in gaming and just think that the way that it was done in 1988 is like the right way to do it forever? That's crazy.
Yeah, that is probably. It's always good to be, I guess, forward thinking. Maybe that's you reading too much Elon Musk stuff or something. So I will say, and I think I talked about this some in the hardcore casual gamer episode, but the mobile gamers, like I struggle with people who play like just Pokemon Go and again, like, okay, so I play Pokemon Go. I've been playing it since it launched. I'm not like,
but if somebody asks you, are you a gamer? And they say, yes, I play Pokemon Go. It's like,
it's hard
like,
not to be a little,
you're not a gamer. You have a phone.
Now here's the thing though. That's actually kind of ridiculous. It takes dedication to be good at Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
You got to put in real time and real gas money and real legwork. And like, it takes effort to be good at Pokemon Go. Like you can be the guy who just sits back and doesn't get anywhere. But if you really are getting like the rare shit or you're doing raids or you're doing like, that takes online collaboration. It takes planning. Yeah. Like I can't even do some of the things I want to do in Pokemon Go because like I have a job and I have a wife and children. And it's,
and there is a game series, I'm not going to name it because then I would have to buy Monster Hunter, that I really, really love. And like I played through like all the free ones and then I went and bought the premium ones, and like I wait and keep an eye to see if they release something something else because I really like these mobile games and I feel like they're really well designed for mobile. They create a cool world. The art style is great. The music is great. I get the argument against mobile games being too casual and stuff, but I also feel like people are finally figuring out how to make good games for mobile.
Square Enix is putting games on mobile. Nintendo, like Mario Run is on mobile. Have you played Mario Run?
I have played Mario Run. Mario Run is good.
Yeah, Ashley loves it.
Yeah.
My kid has beat it. He's really good at it. And then Ashley's like, you're so good at Mario, you should play Mario Run. And like, I fired it up and I'm like, I'm not going to do this. Like, not even because it was too easy. Like,
it just feels wrong
it was
to
fun,
do it on the
but
phone.
I was just like, looking at my phone and
I don't share that bias at all. It felt like a good 2D Mario game.
It felt like a great 2D Mario game. Yeah. But like having to tap and like touch the screen.
Felt wrong to you.
Yeah, I was like, I can't touch glass to do this.
So one of my other biases is JRPGs, and I'm not sure why, because I know like in my head there are good ones, but I was thinking about buying Final Fantasy 15 and I watched some videos and I was like, I can't do this. There's no way in hell that I can do this. This looks awful. You push a car for half an hour. This is a bunch of bullshit. So then they came out with the port version of it for mobile, the Pocket Edition of Final Fantasy 15, and I read about it and I was like, oh, that's cool. They didn't just like dumb down the graphics. They completely sort of reimagined
its own
it
style.
Specifically for mobile. And I was like, man, what a cool idea. So I downloaded it. First 30 minutes of the game is pushing a damn car, and I deleted it immediately. For some reason, Final Fantasy I loved 7, and I played a little bit of 6, and I liked that one as well. But like any of the modern stuff after 7 has kind of ruined a lot of Japanese games for me. I see the art style, and I get like PTSD about how angry those games make me. Who wants to push a car for half an hour? Okay, but I know you love those games, and so
I'm not a diehard, like, I mean, gosh, somebody who's like a true JRPG fan knows like everything and all these eclectic stuff.
Because even games like Nier Automata and like some of the games that came out last, they were like among lists of best games of the year. And I was like, man, I put them in my wish list. I thought about buying them, and then I would like go to hit the buy button. And for some reason, I just like, I couldn't make myself do it. There's like a weird, I'm not that kind of gamer type bias that.
So we'll come back to this, but that's JRPGs or games I feel like I've gotten flack for playing.
And Monster Hunter I have a similar, I hear all the good stuff, but like for some reason, because it has sort of that JRPG style to it, I can't get on board with it. Sorry, continue.
Okay, so here's what I think your problem is with it. So JRPGs, I like them generally, but they take some like time to get into them.
Yes.
And this is also why I tend to like, I don't get into them as much anymore. It's just because like I'm intimidated by that. We got to play the first 10 hours before it gets good.
Yeah.
And even though like that makes a great story, I mean, I love Tom Clancy as a writer. His books are the same way though. It takes like,
he warms up to he
takes a long time.
And
I mean, hell, Fellowship of the Ring doesn't get exciting until like 3/4 of the way through. I love those books. They're some of my favorite books, but it can be intimidating. I think you don't have the patience to put in that. Like, I think you have about 20 minutes.
Well, and we've talked about this before. I like the story to be told in an immersive way. I don't mind waiting, and I don't mind not shooting anything for 30 minutes. I can live with that.
You say that.
I can live with that. But like, I want to be doing something. Like, I want to be walking as a character is talking.
You are walking. You're pushing a car.
Dude, that doesn't count.
It is immersive, right?
You can't walk around the desert. You can't do anything. You literally
just abandon your car, dude? That's a nice
stick.
car. Okay, you can't just leave it in the middle of nowhere.
No, dude.
Your goal is to get it to the mechanic.
Dude, no.
It is immersive, and it's realistic. You got to give it that. I'm not going to defend. I mean, I liked some of 15. I beat it, but I didn't love everything about it. I'm not going to say it's like the best, but I think the fights were really cool. I liked the style of it. The story really went off the rails at the end, like a lot of those games do, but that's okay. Like I got through it and enjoyed a lot of it.
But
you never got to the cool parts with Titan and fighting him because you're like, what the fuck is this? A car? No thanks.
I do think you're right in general about that it does take a little more patience, and the Japanese style of game, they do take more time to like tell story and have dialogue before you actually jump into it a lot of time, except for Final Fantasy 7 where you jump off a train.
Yeah, right off the train.
There's a good intro and then you jump off the
shooting.
train and you go right into combat, and they did that, and it felt like a lot of the Final Fantasies after, and 15, dude, that for some reason. I played 8, I played 9, I played a little bit of 12.
Did you beat 8?
And I didn't beat it. I played, it was Squall, right? With the gunblade and all that stuff. I think I played 10 or 15 hours of it, and I didn't finish it. The card system and all that stuff was just like, it was too much effort.
Well, you didn't have to play the card game.
No, they incorporated it where it was like there was cards associated with your powers and crap.
No, dude.
That's how I remember.
You're off the rails.
That's how I remember.
You are out of line. That was just the like triad game or whatever. It was optional.
I thought it was like connected to your powers and shit.
No, dude. What the hell are you talking about?
That's how I remember it.
No wonder you didn't like it. Though, okay, so that actually takes me to another point, because card games fall into this. I cannot stand puzzle gaming.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't have the patience for it. And
Okay.
if I'm playing a game where I'm somehow accidentally tricked into it, and the only example I can really think of this is like Portal.
Okay.
Portal is like a puzzle game.
Yeah, it's
but
very much a puzzle
I was
game.
totally tricked into it and never think of it as a puzzle game.
Yeah.
Love it. Love trying to solve it. Love trying to find all the angles on
even,
it.
like-
But I mean like a Professor Layton game.
Yeah.
Ashley loves them. They seem clever. I will not do it. Like, I don't know. I bought Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, and I can't do it, man.
Have you ever done an escape the room thing?
I
where
get mad thinking about
You're
it.
in a single room and then you have to find the clues to unlock like the next room and
I mean, it seems kind of cool. I did a...
Is that the type of puzzles though that you hate?
Kind of depends, because those can go several ways, right? Sometimes those have like riddles in them, and those have like more investigative stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I did like an I don't know how you'd say it, experiential type spy thing in the Spy Museum in
Yeah, that's like
Washington,
an
DC.
escape room that you
I
would
liked
do.
that. That
Okay.
was really fun.
Yeah.
But I can't do puzzle games.
Okay.
And the reason I don't like doing, like, if it's like a card game where like Kingdom Hearts came out with like a card game version,
Yeah.
I can't do it, man. No.
Or like Final Fantasy VIII.
No, not like Final Fantasy VIII.
So one of the things I do want to talk about though is when you do have a prejudice, but your desire to play with your friends sort of outweighs that. And sometimes I wonder with games like Destiny or something like that, or Monster Hunter, how many people play that even though they don't like it because they're more of like a social reward person? Do you have games like that you picked up specifically just because the reward of playing with friends outweighed?
Like, I would be more like I can't stand the Call of Duty series. I would consider playing it with friends. That hasn't really come up, but that's why I played Titanfall. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it at all, but there were so many people playing it, and I was like, oh my god, the guys from Call of Duty made it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I had followed it. I was like super skeptical, but everyone was playing it. It seems like Destiny was like that for you in some ways.
Yeah, actually, after Vanilla in Destiny 1, and then the first DLC came out and it wasn't great, I was 100% ready to like walk away from it and never...
Well, we played it on Xbox together first. You got rid of your Xbox.
Yeah.
And then much to my shock, played Taken King on PS4, which was surprising. 'Cause you were, and you were like in the tower talking about all this like more social type stuff. And I was floored. And you were like, you need to come play with me on PS4. And I was like, I don't understand what's going on. And it's kind of like an MMO, and we'll probably get to this on another MMO episode, but notoriously, you don't really play MMOs, but you were playing a very MMO-like game.
Right.
Or Diablo.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of weird to see you playing like Diablo 3.
Would that count as an MMO, do you think?
I wouldn't say it's quite an MMO, but it's like
That one is very solo-friendly.
Yeah, it is. Because it's still kind of that dungeon crawler, especially solo, but still, I mean, it was just kind of odd to see you like joining up and playing and running rifts and stuff. I'm trying to think of for myself like something. I mean, an entire PS4 sums up
to play with.
before I bought the PS4, I was kind of against
Team
it.
Xbox. Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
I was a ex-boner.
Well, I mean,
is that what they call them?
Yeah, definitely.
Sony ponies.
That's what I call them.
Ex-boners.
Yeah.
Whatever. I was. Yeah.
Well, Ghost Recon Wildlands more recently, like you play that mostly more for the social. Like you're not a big shooter. I mean, you played some of the Tom Clancy games and stuff, but it's not like on your list of must-haves or anything like that. Far Cry 5 is one we've talked about where you would play that if
I think,
but you wouldn't buy it outright for yourself to play solo.
But he's been showing me like the co-op videos, and it actually looks pretty fun.
And those are I didn't play Primal, but I've played all the others solo. I like the franchise.
If we end up getting it, it'll be my first Far Cry. It'll be my very first one. So I don't know. I mean, I do like playing with friends, so I'm kind of a sucker for if like enough people are playing it, or especially if there's like a lull, like right now with Destiny 2. I'm a lot more easier to be persuaded to go play something else.
Right.
Even World of Warcraft, I only got into it. I didn't think it looked cool.
Yeah.
I'd never played Warcraft 3 at the time. I went back, but I only played it for friends. So I mean, I'm pretty easy like that.
So let me ask you this as we wrap up. Do you have like a specific genre or a particular game or anything that you have a hunch that you might like, but irrational biases kept you from playing?
If there's been a good Call of Duty game, I would have never, I won't even check it out. Like, I'm so anti. I was like that with Battlefield, actually.
Yeah.
I was never going to play it, but I actually really enjoyed Battlefield 1 and then the Battlefront games.
Yeah.
Like I kind of
that DICE style of shooter.
Right. And honestly, after having Diego on, it's kind of made me like want to go play some more sports
I have
games.
thought that actually too since having him on. I was like, maybe I should pick up FIFA, or maybe I should pick up like an NBA game.
Yeah, it's kind of made me like want to explore it. I don't know, like I got off the boxing, like the fight night games. I don't know if there's a current one. It's kind of made me want to branch out though.
That's a good one, actually.
Yeah, what about you?
So I actually JRPGs, like even though I'm very against them, like the games like Nier Automata that get like these really great scores
good,
and the combat looks cool and stuff like that, and I just can't quite bring myself to do them. I have a feeling I would really enjoy that game, and even though people said that the story gets weird, as tends to happen with JRPGs, I don't know. I think it would be a good game. I think I would enjoy it. It would be different from what I'm playing. I mean, because I've been playing American style open world, like sandboxy, shootery. It would be kind of cool to play something that's a little bit different pace. Maybe I need to overcome that prejudice. Maybe it's time.
Maybe the Final Fantasy VII remake will get you. It'll be enough of a gateway.
That one I'm really scared of because I'm really worried that they're going to bring the things I hate about modern Final Fantasy games into a game that I love, and it's going to tarnish the memory of it. So I'm a little bit hesitant on 7. I
hope they start with you pushing the train. Like I don't want Cloud to
Look, never mind, it broke down.
It broke down. Cloud is now a
push
mechanic.
This train for half an hour and listen to Barrett talk.
Yo, Spikehead, we really need you to clean up the train.
Yeah.
If you could sweep out these cards.
That sounds amazing. I hope they do that.
That'd be good. I think that would really draw you in more.
Thank you for listening to Save Every Universe. If you enjoyed this episode, please go give us a review on iTunes. 5 stars only, please.
If you have any questions or comments about things we should do, or, if you just are tired of us and you want to let us know, please don't make a review about it. Instead, send us an email at saveeveryuniverse@gmail.com.